Hello guys, today I'm going to be taking you through a tour of my houseplant collection. The last time I counted, I had about 91 plants, but today we will be counting together. I hope you enjoy this. Okay, so let me start with my first plant. This is the Chinese evergreen. It's also known as the Aglonema crispum. It does really well in low lighting condition. In fact, this is one plant that has been way indoors. I kept this in my kitchen, and I love the foliage. I really do love the foliage. The only thing that the only lights this plant sees are the lights from my kitchen, from my LED lights up top here. And it's been thriving in this spot. In fact, I just want to leave it here. I don't want to experiment. So this one is my Norfolk Island pine. It's I think I bought this from gardengoods.com. It came with the leaves a little droopy, but I can't wait to grow this into a huge tree. This is what usually used as the Christmas tree. The plastic ones are usually used as the Christmas tree. I love this plant. Anyway, right beside it is my rubber tree plant. This is the Ficus. It's called the Ficus Lyrata. It's Ficus elastica. I always mix it up with the Fiddle fig tree. This also grows to be a very tall plant. I love the foliage also. I got it for the foliage. I have artificial lights, grow lights directed at both of these plants. I think they've been indoors for 3 months, 4 months since the pandemic started. We have here the Sansevieria ninja, or the samurai dwarf. It's also called the Sansevieria Ehrenbergi or something like that. I can't speak Latin. But this is one of those plants that look very artificial, and I love the fact that I can use this as some kind of decor, and people just think this is plastic and you can throw it around. I particularly love this plant for a centerpiece. This is the snake plant, Dracaena trifuscata. It's also called the Sansevieria trifuscata, sitting right next to the peace lily. I think it's called Sphaphilum lilium. Gosh, my teeth. They do very well in low lighting condition. This here is a Syndaptus pictus. It's also known as the silver pothos. I love the foliage. I think I got it when it was about 4 leaves or so. That was in January, and it's really done well. And yeah, right beside this, by the other side of my television, is another Syndaptus pictus. I put them in separate plants, and when they start growing, I propagate another cutting from the same one, and this is doing really well. I know I can fasten the rate of growth. Anyway, this is the Monstera deliciosa. It's one of my favorite plants. I like the fact that the leaves grow really big in the right conditions. Currently, I'm not sure I can provide that condition for this plant at the moment, but it will thrive. It would it would do well with the grow lights that I have beside it right here. Yeah. So on my shelves are these 5, the aromarums, and the first one here. So I got these 5. I think I got them as sprouts, but I'll talk about them in a bit. So this is called the house leech. I don't know the Latin name for this. I don't know the botanical name for this, but this is this other one is called the Cactus microdices. It's a bunny ear cactus, or I think Mickey Mouse cactus or something like that. It's very prickly. Right beside it is, I'm not sure I know the name for this, but I'm guessing it's an Echeveria. And beside it is the Hoya canosa, another favorite plant of mine. I really love vining plants. This one really vines, but it's a very slow grower. This is the variegated version. At the back there is the inchworm. I don't know what else it's called. It was half this size when I got it, and it's been growing towards the direction of the grow light. And right here is the mistletoe cactus. It reminds me of the pencil cactus, which I have outside. Okay, here is a thimble cactus. It's looks very cute, tiny and cute, but very prickly, I must say. Okay, this here is it's an Aworthy. I'm not sure if it's the pygmy or the Lilian or something like that. This one is one of my longest, hardiest plants. It's called the chenille plant. I bought this, I think I've had this for about 2 years now. I've not done so well in keeping it, but this plant has failed to die on me. Okay, this is the cylindrica, the Sansevieria cylindrica, and beside it is the Townsend barrel cactus, and right there is the zebra cactus, and right there is the fairy washboard and the old lady cactus. I think that's what the last one is called, Mamilera haniana. Okay, at the corner is my other Dracena. It's also a snake plant. Fun fact, snake plants are from Nigeria. Keep that in mind. Anyway, this is my ZZ plant. This is another really low light plant. If you can kill this plant, see, you probably have serial killer tendencies. But this is an amazing plant. I love the thickness of the foliage. I love the greenness, especially when you have really new green plants sprouting. They're very light green. Anyway, this is a Closia rosea. It's also called the autograph plant. Apparently, people scratch their names on it, and the names stay on the leaves for a long time. Like, it literally would stay on the leaves. I got this at Walmart, I think. Okay, this is a Majesty palm. It does well in full light, high lighting conditions, and needs to be humid, stay in humid conditions, and that's why mine is browning. I'll talk a little bit about this later. Next to that is my Ficus Lyrata, the Fiddle leaf fig. This is another full light plant. It would not do well inside my apartment. This is like a very common plant, indoor tree plant. I've had this when it was just about 4 leaves, and it's going to take a long time to be a tree. This is it's called a Xandu plant. I know it's a philodendron. I don't know if it's Philodendron Xandu, but I know it's called a Xandu plant. Mine has become really leggy in that corner. All right, this is one of my favorite plants. It's called the heart fern. It's this is one plant that will tell you when it needs water. It'll tell you when it needs to be hydrated, and I like this plant. Is really cute. I love the stem. The stem is really nice. Okay, here is my Peperomia hoop. I can't remember what the Latin or botanical name is for this. Sitting right to a silver sword philodendron that I was convinced is a rare plant, and that's why I bought it. Beside it is my this is a rabbit's foot fern. One of the plants I got at Fernandina, had a trip to Fernandina Beach. Okay, so right beside it is a wandering Jew. I know this is a wandering Jew. It's also called a purple heart. I think that's what it's called. I used to feed my snails this when I was much younger. This is an Alocasia poly. This is another plant whose foliage I really love. It's so glossy and it's so beautiful. I need to do a photo shoot with this plant at some point. This is a really beautiful plant. One of the most beautiful Alocasias that I own. Okay, right beside it is another Aglonema. This is not a Trifus color. This is, I think, a red Aglonema. This doesn't do as well in low light. So, Pilea peperomioides, the Chinese money plant, is also known as the friendship plant. This was the mother of all the others that I have. This plant right here, I don't know what to do to keep this one alive. It's called a high plant. Every other month, one leaf falls off. It's supposed to do well in full sun, and I've put it in the sun, but I don't know how to revive this one. Okay, here is my this is an aquatic plant. It's called the Amazon sword plant. I got this at a pet store. Well, I like the fact that it can only survive in water, which is a unique feature of this plant, or why I had this in my collection. Here's a Lithope, my only surviving Lithope. It looks like a brain, and that's why I have it in my collection also. I have a few cuttings of a succulent here. I don't know what it is yet. These are my child spider plants. I have their mother somewhere. I got the mother a few years ago, about 2 years ago. Also one of my longest surviving plants. Here is a string of perils. I can't remember the botanical name for that. And Indian rope plant. This is also a Hoya. It's called the Hoya compacta. I think that's what it's called. And sitting right beside it is the watermelon plant. I'm not very sure. This right here is a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. It looks like it's often taken confused with the Monstera densoni. And right here is one of the cuttings from my Philodendron Brazil. Well, it was one of my first experiments in propagating with water. It does so well in low lighting conditions, well, medium lighting conditions. And here is its mother plant. One of the leaves here fell off, and I just like yanked it and threw it in water. This is my blue orchid. These plants are very tricky, very tricky. It's right beside a caladium, which I'm not so much of a fan of. I just got bulbs and kept them. Okay, here is a Peperomia Caperata. It's also known as the ripple frost, commonly known as ripple frost. Right beside my string of perils. Once again, I don't know the botanical name of this. I have to do a better job of searching. Beside it is my Hoya Kairi, which is another fantastic plant of mine. Like I mentioned, this is a Pilea peperomioides, other plant for two of my other plants. It's also known as a friendship plant, by the way. Yeah, this is this grew out of the other pot. This is my Arabica plant, which is the coffee plant. It's where you get your coffee from. I really love the foliage of this plant. Immediately I saw it, I just grabbed it. And this is another Pilea peperomioides, which I yanked from its mother, from the mother plant. You can see that it also has babies too. Okay, here is a Philodendron Brazil. Um, I have nothing more to say about this plant. I haven't studied it well. I like the stripes. I think that's kind of the reason why I added this to my collection. I would see how this one fares. I don't know so much about this one. Okay, this one is called the English ivy. This plant is another hardy plant. I would argue that this is like a weed plant, because see, if you see from the falling leaves there, I don't even take much care of this plant, and see, this plant does not die. It just will not die. Anyway, moving on. This is called the Gastera minima, which is called the lawyer's tongue. I don't know why. Next is the Schefflera moonshine, which is the mini version. I have a bigger version. This is the spider plant. This is the mother plant of the other that I showed earlier, and it's another very hardy plant. It requires a lot of light. So this is my false Aurelia. This plant had a spider mite infestation, which was my very first time dealing with pests, and I lost probably hundreds of leaves from this very bushy tree. It's doing quite well. Okay, right here is the pencil tree, also known as the pencil cactus or the Euphorbia tyrucali. It's an interesting plant. Sap from this plant can cause itches, so you have to be very careful with this plant, especially when it cuts. Right beside it is this is called the Mottled Splurge. I bought these two at the same time on a trip to Tampa sometime last month. No, 2 months ago. Jeez, when did the pandemic start? Okay, here is a Monstera adansonii. But if you get a Monstera, you can as well add this one to it. Okay, on my painting shelf are my prayer plants. The first one here is called the Calathea zebrina. And right beside it is the one I love called the Maranta leuconura. And right beside it is the Calathea lancifolia and the purple one called the Calathea rosiopicta. This one is so hardy. This Calathea medallion is so hardy. Right here is a plant I've had for so long. It's called the Bigleaf periwinkle. I like the fact that it just vines. I'm a huge fan of vining plants. And right beside it is the squirrel foot. It's a rabbit foot species. Another hardy plant. Beside it is my string of hearts. I think it's one of, like, if not my best plant in the collection. This plant I have searched everywhere to just get a cutting of this, and I finally found it on ariumbotanica.com. I love vining plants, and I love the fact that this has like a heart shape. This plant keeps growing longer and longer and longer. I'm gonna at some point nip it at the bud, pun intended. Right beside it, next is my Tenante Grey Star. I bought this on the same day I bought my string of hearts. Interesting leaves, something I'd like to add to my collection. Okay, moving on. This is a neon pothos. It's also called the Peperomia aureum. It's the neon pothos. Beside it is a wandering Jew. I don't know which exact genus this is. This is yet another vining plant that I absolutely love. Right here is the golden pothos. I think this is the marble queen. And beside it is the Philodendron Brazil. This one keeps growing longer and longer and longer. Did I talk about, I think I skipped my Alocasia musk giant plant. I'll get to that in a bit. This here is a Schefflera moondrop or Schefflera Janine. This is one of the, I think I got this last week. It's one of my latest plants in the collection. Here is a Tillandsia xerographica. People don't believe it's a live plant. It's one of the air plants that I have, and in my study is my workspace is a money tree plant called the Pachira aquatica. I have no idea why it's called the Pachira aquatica, but there it is, right beside my Syndaptus pictus, which is the same plant I showed you guys earlier. I think I have one more plant which is outside. That's the Venus flytrap. I got this a few days ago also. This is not the first time I'm getting one. I got one earlier, and this plant, I don't know how I'm gonna like feed it ants, like throw ants into the den. Maybe some others have. Maybe you have some kind of luck with this plant. Well, not my favorite plant. It was $2 or $3, and so I yanked it. Anyway, I'm giving this away if anybody wants. I hope you enjoyed this houseplant tour. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. That way you're gonna know whenever I have new content for you guys. Also, if you have any questions or comments, don't forget to leave that in the comment section below. Thank you so much. Till next time.